sure you guys, you know some of the history, a little bit of it from, I guess, TV shows, or have you done any research on your own?
I did.
Good. Because a lot of what is on the TV shows
is not real.
Necessary. Good. Because I hate when I tell people these things and they just look at me like I've just crushed all their dreams. So, all right. Most of the stories and the legends start out with there being a slaughterhouse on the property. There probably was a slaughterhouse. In fact, there were probably about 4 or 5 of them in this area, because back in the 1800s, this area was called Finchtown. It was a small German settlement here on the river. It stretched about what would now be about 5 or 6 city blocks, and they did have several slaughterhouses. Whether one sat right exactly here, we don't really know for sure. There are kind of crude maps of the area from back then, but it's really hard to tell exactly where it would have sat. What we do know for sure is there was a distillery here. And the odd thing about the distillery is every ghost show, every documentary I've ever seen about Bobby Mackey's never mentions the distillery. But the thing is, it was called the Old 76 Distillery. It was the largest distributor of whiskey in the United States for over 40 years. But it doesn't play into the narrative of severed heads and, jilted lovers, so they kind of conveniently leave it out. But the distillery was here, and they are the ones that dug the tunnels underneath us. There's 3 of them. There's one right here, there's one on the north end of the parking lot, and there's one on the south end of the parking lot. They were pulling about 250,000 gallons of water up from the Licking River every day to make whiskey. So that's what the tunnels are for. So, like I said, the distillery sat here for 40 years. And when Prohibition came around, some of it had already burned down, but then they just tore the rest of it down during Prohibition. So that, what was that?
I did hear it squid. Did somebody move? Did a chair move?
I know it was just a squeak, but it's not a normal sound, so just had to point it out.
Did any of you guys move the chairs?
No, I think it was behind. I think it came from behind the bar area.
I put my leg up on the bar.
Oh,
there it
that's nice.
I thought it was the first ghost activity. That would have been great for the video, Tanya. You ruined it.
So, 1896, Pearl Bryan. I'm sure most everybody knows the story of poor Pearl and her lost head. That is a true story. It really did happen. She was from Indiana. She was pregnant. Her boyfriend was Scott Jackson, and he was a dental student in Cincinnati. I'm not going to go too much into it because, in all honesty, she really doesn't have a lot to do with this property. The only thing she has to do with this property is that she passed by on Licking Pike as they were transporting her to dump her in the field over the hill in Fort Thomas. So they hired Scott and Alonzo Walling, hired a stagecoach in Cincinnati to bring her across the river, and the stagecoach driver testified at their trial that he could hear her crying and moaning in the back, and he was scared, and he pulled over. He said he pulled over in front of the distillery, which probably would have been right out here. So he pulled over, he asked them to get out, and they refused, and he said that Alonzo pulled a gun on him and said, keep going. So he did. They directed him over the hill onto a farm. They drug Pearl out. He said he got off his coach, he heard her scream, and then he didn't hear another sound, so he took off running on foot and left his horse and his coach sitting on the farm. So after the distillery was shut down during Prohibition, the property changed hands a few times. There was just a couple buildings that were left standing, and one of them was turned into the Bluegrass Inn. And when we go downstairs, you'll see the original exterior of that building. It was a very small building. They ran a cafe up on the main level here, and then they lived in the basement level. After that, the property was purchased by a guy named Buck Brady. He was a small-time gangster. Now we're like in the early 30s. He added all of this on, and he opened it up as the Primrose Country Club. All of these chairs are original chairs from the Primrose. So these are like, 70, 80-year-old wooden chairs. Some of them have been refurbished a little bit, but most of them are still the same as they were back then. So a lot of energy that's stored in these wooden chairs from the mob days. The first documented murder or death that happened in the club was in 1932. where that thermostat is right there, that post. This area, the bar, used to be the men's bathroom. What's currently the men's bathroom used to be an office. So in 1932, 2 guys got in a fight in the bathroom. One guy got hit, he fell over, hit his head on a radiator, and died on the bathroom floor. So, I don't know if that has anything to do with the male voices we hear, but a lot of them are right in this area, the male voices we hear. So that was the first documented death. I don't know how many deaths have actually happened here. I could talk for hours about all the weird things that have happened just within a couple miles of this building. I don't know if you noticed the cross across the street, like someone, died in a car accident right across the street. That just happened about 5 years ago. It happened in the middle of the day. The guy ran into the telephone pole. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't on drugs. They don't know what happened. He was killed instantly. Newport Steel is right down the road. Just in the last decade, there's been about 6 deaths over at Newport Steel. 5 of them were accidents. 1 they believe was a suicide. There have been bridge collapses. There have been people shot in the parking lot, stabbed in the parking lot. Unexplained death of a man that was found on the hill across the street. It's just so much right in this area that a lot of people think it's cursed, and a lot of people think Alonzo Walling cursed it. I don't know. But there have been a lot of strange deaths. And you're also, if we're going back to the Primrose and the mob days, they didn't really keep records of who they killed. So again, we don't know how many people actually died in here. So this is the bull room. Back in the casino days, this room was completely closed off, and this was the casino. So this would have been full of slot machines, poker tables, all that good stuff in here. Now I'll turn to the bull. Come back this way. Is anybody in your group sensitive or psychic medium? No? Well, somebody come back here. Oh, the bull booth is off.
Shucks, no riding the bull tonight.
You can go touch him or whatever.
I'm good.
Just don't try to turn him on. Stand over on that side of the pool table. At least a couple people, whatever. You feel anything weird? Now that I've put you on the spot for it, we call this the creepy corner. When the lights are off, it's really dark back in this corner. We get a lot of shadows. A lot of times, I don't see any other balls, but sometimes you'll hear balls knocking around if there's more than one, or maybe just put it somewhere, see if it moves. The reason I asked about people being sensitive or psychic is I have had tours with people who have said they are psychic or sensitive, and before I even start, they'll immediately walk back here to right where you're standing and say that they feel that that is where the spirits enter and leave the building. Not necessarily the well, which is where everybody thinks the demons fly out of, but right there. So, and a lot of people who stand there feel sick to their stomach, get dizzy, typical things you would expect from where there might be a portal. So you might want to, maybe have somebody come back here by themselves and just hang out for a little bit and see what happens.
It's sacrificial.
I'll do it.
But then you also have to sit in the jail cell by yourself downstairs.
Maybe.
He draws the line at the jail cell.
All right.
We'll see how far I can go.
So this room is obviously where you would cash your chips in when you were playing at the casino. And then behind you there is the giant safe where they kept all the money for the casino.
That's cool.
It's been here for 70 years. On the side, it says built specially for E.A. Brady. That's Buck Brady, who I told you built the original casino, the Primrose. The Primrose was here for several years. He eventually got ran out of town by the Cleveland Syndicate. They controlled most of Newport as far as the mob activity. They eventually ran him out of town and reopened this as the Latin Quarter. That's why out there's a lot of like the cactus and the little guy with the sombrero. Those are all original decorations from the Latin Quarter. So this room now, Bobby just uses it. He hangs out in here before he goes on stage. Any bands that are performing will hang out in here sometimes too. We do get women's voices in here because I guess women used to work the window. They don't like people being in here, I guess because the money is in here. So a lot of times if you talk about money or you talk about wanting money, you know, they might tell you to get the hell out. Hey, Carl. Just wait.
Be careful, JT, it drops off.
Cold in here.
Okay, so this was Carl's apartment. He lived up here for 13 years. I'm sure it looked a little better, I hope, back then. Carl, okay, so after the Latin Quarter, they ran bingo games for a while at the Latin Quarter. That's why there's all those bingo cards there. Because, you know, in the 50s, Vegas moved out to Vegas. Because this used to be called the Sin City of the South. Because this was Vegas before Vegas was Vegas. So all the gangsters, all the gambling moved out to Vegas. Newport started kind of going down a little bit. They tried to stay afloat with bingo games for a while, but they eventually shut down in the early 70s. And then this place opened up as a, what is that? It's like a Rollie. I thought it was a pill or something. This place opened up as a bar called the Hard Rock. Not like the Hard Rock Cafe, it was just called the Hard Rock. It was a biker bar. It was just a rough kind of roadhouse kind of place. A lot of violence went on. Always fights here, stabbing, shootings in the parking lot. There was a guy murdered in the parking lot during the Hard Rock days. It only stayed open for about 2 or 3 years. The city of Newport finally shut it down just because it was a public nuisance for all the violence they had here. But Carl worked at the Hard Rock. And so after it shut down, about a year after it shut down, Bobby came around, saw that the building was for sale, and bought it. Carl came along and said, hey, you know, I used to work here. If you need any help, you know, I'd be happy to help out. So Bobby hired him. They became friends, and eventually Carl moved in here, and like I said, he lived up here for 13 years as a caretaker. Now, Carl started the stories of the hauntings. He claimed that Scott Jackson used to visit him. He claimed that, you know... Did you hear that?
No.
I was just looking. I thought I heard something, and you looked like as soon as I heard it. I don't even know what I heard. I don't know. Anyway,
Probably not on camera.
so it was a, I don't know. Anyway, Carl started the stories. Scott Jackson, he said, used to visit him. He also used to be visited by a lady with long dark hair, and she told him to go in the basement and dig. So he did. He went down, he tore up the floor, and he eventually uncovered the well. And you'll see the floor is hacked up just the way he left it. But he claimed that he found a diary in the well, and it was Johanna's diary. You guys know Johanna's story and the song and all that. So he claimed that the diary was Johanna's, and it told the story of how she became pregnant by a guy named Robert Randall. Her father didn't approve, so he had Robert Randall killed, and she was so distraught that she poisoned her father and committed suicide. That's the story in a nutshell. None of it's true. There is no record of any of that ever happening. I hate to bust your bubble because everybody wants to come here and talk to Johanna. But the truth is, I mean, back then when Carl started telling this story, you got to remember this is like mid-'80s probably. We didn't have the access that we have now to the internet and public records and all that to really thoroughly research these kind of things. So really, basically nobody fact-checked him. He just told a story. It was, you know, fantastic, and everybody wanted to believe it. But now, over the past, you know, decade, people have researched it, and nobody has come up with anything. And it doesn't make a lot of historical sense either, because if Johanna's father owned the club, he was a gangster who owned the club, gangsters aren't going to let their daughters be showgirls in their own club. That's, you know, the first red flag that comes up. And then Buck Brady didn't have any daughters, so it wasn't him. The Cleveland Syndicate was run by a group of 4 men who may have had daughters, but again, they're not going to let them be showgirls. So basically, Johanna's a legend. It's a great legend. And it doesn't mean there aren't female spirits here who might have been dancers or showgirls or things like that. But yeah, Carl was an interesting guy. Bobby always said that when you would talk to Carl, you never knew who you were going to talk to. So Bobby kind of felt that he may have had multiple personality disorder or something like that. But Carl was very scared. That sticker, I heard somebody mention it that says "Go away." Carl put that there. He was terrified when he lived here, but yet he couldn't leave. It was one of those things where, he kind of hated being here, but yet he couldn't bring himself to leave. He said he'd try to go to sleep up here, and it would sound like hundreds of people were walking around downstairs, and he could hear them coming up the stairs. And so he'd barricade the door, and he was just terrified living here. And he felt that Scott Jackson was possessing him, and that's why he had the exorcism performed. So, has anybody watched the exorcism, like on YouTube? It's kind of weird. It's easy to find on YouTube. He also was on the Geraldo show with Bobby and his wife Janet, and they did an exorcism on the Geraldo show. You guys might be too young to know who Geraldo's talk show, but yeah. So as far as stuff happening up here, to be perfectly honest, I've never experienced anything up here. Weird noises, like whatever it was I heard, but I mean, I don't know. This was Carl's safe place, and I kind of think it still is in a way. It's just usually pretty quiet up here. But I mean, it's worth checking out for a little bit. You never know.
Why is there cigarettes on the...
People leave them for Carl. All right, so this is the basement. I was telling you about the original building, the original exterior of the building. This is it. This was where it was the Pop family that owned the Bluegrass Inn. So they lived on this main level of the building, and then they had the restaurant and cafe upstairs. So the room behind you there is storage now, but that used to be Carl's workshop. A lot of interesting things. We see white mist come out of that room. Dark shadows pop out of that room. A lot of people don't like it. They feel that there's something not so nice that lives in there. These are the stairs to nowhere. Oh, come on, flashlight. It's not actually nowhere. That's actually the floor of the men's bathroom. Like I said, it used to be an office way back when. So there was a trap door. So when the club would get raided, that's how they could run out and run out the back door. Where you were just looking is where you're going to do your isolation session, right?
Oh,
yep. That's the jail cell.
Oh, really?
What they used that for probably was if somebody was caught cheating at the casino, or maybe they had a gambling debt, something like that. They'd throw them in there until they had time to come down here and deal with them.
Have they had anything happen in
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
People that sit in there hear whispering, or, they get their hair touched. And I have had people get scratched in there. And usually the people that get scratched in there are not doing anything wrong. They're not provoking or doing anything.
Well,
It's
should I
usually
go
the
sit in
quiet
there?
ones, to be perfectly
Go on.
honest.
Tori, you're pretty quiet. You can go sit in there.
No, it's true. We're doing it. Yeah, we'll get
What
it.
supposedly happens in here?
You get scratched. Whispers.
We'll put you in there, lady. Don't worry.
So if I'm coming down there and sitting in there, at least somebody's standing out here.
No, we're going to be upstairs.
No, I'm not coming all the way down here. So, hell no.
So this is the room of faces. They call it that mainly because of that right behind you. That is Johanna. If you see her long, dark hair, and it's right here, and her eyes,
focused
her
on that
face,
like
her
it was a
arm hanging
face.
down. If you take a picture of it with your flash, it'll come out much more clearly. You can
My
almost
camera
see her whole
focused on
body.
that immediately.
Jordan, back up.
Really?
Yeah, it was immediate. God, Mom has no fear.
Fear, so.
She just went right in there like she owned the whole damn building.
The Kelly Jean Will.
She's like, fuck them.
Something scary lives in there. Go in there.
She lives in the dark.
You should turn your light up now. What's that you're doing?
See if this stool's safe to sit on.
I thought something was scratching.
I was already terrified. I got a weird feeling coming in here.
Is anybody in here? Any old tramps down there?
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Is that somebody still moving upstairs?
No, I heard a clang on one of the pipes or whatever.
Sound like a stool moved.
Well,
right here.
Well, this was
This
over
one.
here.
That we're right under the HVAC. So
Aw.
if somebody's not sitting right here, because
This was over in this direction.
well, I heard
What
something right
heard.
up here.
I heard something that way and right here.
Is it?
'Cause I
I
looked
hear
over
it
here
running.
before you
Maybe it
looked
just
at
kicked on.
Maybe that's what it was like. It was starting to start up.
Gross. Can we go back to the stairway to nothing?
Yeah. Let me know if you stop recording. Is it that way?
Yep.
Oh, I was about to go see her again.
Please don't. I'm really freaked out by that thing.
Who did that?
Tori.
So right here, when we were in here and she was talking to us earlier,
And I'm way too bright on
Tori
your
took
face.
2 pictures, and you can see something like moving up the stairs, and one it's there and one it's gone. Did you see it yet?
Not the enhanced one.
Well, there's the one out, and then I turned it black and white, and you can definitely see it. Do you want to see it?
Make sure you
See-
look in the camera too, GT.
There's nothing there.
Hold on, wait. Here, you hold the camera and do it so I can see because you've already seen it.
Okay, there's nothing there in this picture, and then you go to this one, and there's like a shadow
Oh
up there.
God.
All right, I'm gonna turn my spirit box back on. Sweeping in reverse, and make sure it's sweeping fast. It's all the way up.
Which one are you counting as fast? Like what?
100.
What are you? Okay.
Right.
That's what they
That's the
said
fastest.
to use it on here. So you're doing FM, right?
Yeah, it's on FM. Should I switch to AM?
Oh, I don't care. I'm just
No,
wondering.
FM's usually that, and then 200 is
200 is the AM
fastest on the
fastest.
AM.
No, the people we were watching last night said to use FM 100 on it with 100 speed.
What was that?
I can't tell.
It's telling you something.
Here,
It says teacher.
Saying a lot of things, but it ain't telling me nothing.
Are you a teacher?
You got a ton of different words on this.
How many of you are here? Maybe we're talking to multiple people.
I think it just said 6.
666.
This is what?
Are there 6 of you? Right now with us, talking to us?
We have 9 people here. How many of you are here?
Ooh, look. It says ritual. But Jordan thought it said 6 on her spirit box, so I asked how many.
At least I think. I could be wrong. I can't. All right, that's still rolling. I'm gonna go get the speaker.
What about where that the bathrooms used to be? He said they got a lot of voices and things.
Anybody wanna go with me?
Nothing too interesting back there.
I'm gonna go get up on that chair. You wanna film me?
Yeah.
What's the best way to get back there? Anybody remember?
Where's that straw with the beer?
there's a beer bottle.
Well, that would be why.
It's somebody Ian. I need
Beer ghost.
Yeah, I was hoping Ian would turn that. Blast that one so I can see because it's
Is this where somebody got pulled off the chair, right?
get pushed off the chair.
This is gross.
Here, let me use the camera.
Oh shit, I left the clapperboard out there.
We'll go get it.
What if we just heard it go?
It starts flying after us.
Oh my god. It's creepy back here.
What do you see?
Just trash. And like pieces of PVC. I'm not focused at all.
What they do is they were just right up there
Yeah.
and they got pulled off.
So they got pushed off. But all I'm doing is feeling like I'm in.
Oh my god. And then stop moving as of a minute ago. So if we hear footsteps, it's not them.
Alright, we'll go get your clapperboard and we'll turn off those lights.
You want to go? Not yet.
I fucking hate that thing on the wall in there. I'm serious. I just heard. Did you say something?
No.
Swear to God, I just heard something.
What? What'd you hear?
It sounded like go away a little bit, but it wasn't like strong. And it sounded like it was Tori because it was right behind me. I swear to God.
Alright, everybody stop moving for a second.
It was like it was right here.
Is there anyone in here with us? Hello?
Maybe you could ask it to turn like a light on and off or something.
Do you want us to go away?
It was right after I said I hated that face in there, and then I heard go away. Or something like right in my ear.
You pissed her off. Let's go see it again.
I'm not going in there.
Come on.
Just don't look through your camera.
I don't want to look at it. It's on that side.
Hang on here.
I don't know if there's any kids.
What's
Some chalk.
what they call this thing?
The
Room of faces.
little liddy room. Most of those chairs look like they.
Film her for a second. Is there anyone in here with us? I should have brought my night camera down here. We'll have to come back down here later with it.
I mean, I just thought Tori had said something, so I turned around.
No.
Is it
I've not
genuinely?
said anything.
So
Right.
you heard something back in the...
Yeah. Did you say anything when we were going back there? Okay.
Who would she be talking to?
I don't know. Us?
Well, no, I was talking to myself.
Oh, geez.
It sounded like it was
But-
close to me, though. It sounded like it was
I
right over my shoulder.
I was admiring that old antique.
Because I said I hate that fucking face in there or something, and it sounded like something right here. Get out is the closest thing I can make it out to, but it really didn't sound like any words.
Oh my god, she's so creepy looking. Somebody walking.
Mom is.
Stop walking. Is there anyone in here with us? Is Johanna in here with us? Oh shit!
Got it. Got him.
What happened?
I scared him.
Alright, I'm gonna go sit alone in that creepy room where something evil lives or whatever. With this.
Oh,
No
yeah.
lights, just this.
You want me to stop recording or stay recording? I'm gonna go down here.
Yeah, go ahead and keep recording.
I'm gonna go down here.
No, keep recording on me so that way you can see that we have real time what's going on with me in here. I think that's something evil people were talking about, but just the fucking HVAC. Oh god, this stool's not raised. Bloody Mary. Oh, there's a mirror in here, never mind. Is there anyone in here with me?
I thought I saw something behind you, but it was a fuzz on my thing.
Is there anyone in here with me right now? Is there anyone in here? Nothing. Alright, you can show them the picture now, Tori. Now, where were you on that?
I was right here.
Isn't that where that guy died? Because that was the bathroom and he hit his head off the pipe.
Is that where you were? Were you staying with that guy died?
Right here.
Well, this was like the male's
Flashed
bathroom.
around, and I saw it move on the camera and it scared the shit out of me.
Wait, you saw it move as you took the picture?
Yes, I saw it on the camera.
Oh my god.
Well, this was the male's bathroom where she said that guy fell. They got into a fight. That guy fell and died on the pipe.
Okay, if there's anybody here, tell me. Make the rods cross. If there's anybody in this whole building, make the rods cross.
That's me. Jordan, watch.
I haven't
You
moved.
see it?
I missed them. They're across. Oh, yeah, now I see it.
Okay. Are you a man? Are you male? A man? If you're a man, make the rods cross. If you're a female, make them go apart. Are you a man?
Are you female?
She keeps using the word man. Maybe you're a boy.
Are you dead? Do you know you're dead?
Are they crossing?
They're starting to, I think.
Just barely moving. Whoa. Can you tell Amanda your name on the tape recorder?
Right here, talking to this black box.
If you could talk into that black box, cross the rods, let me know. I'm waiting for you to answer.
How long have you been here?
Well, that ain't something I'm gonna put on here.
You can put it on the recorder.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
If you're in here, touch her, scratch her, bite her, I don't care. Just do something.
Do you want to talk to us? Do you want to talk to us?
Yes. Are you talking in the recorder? Because I can't hear it until after when we listen to it back. Are you saying stuff into it for me? Let me know with the rods. Cross them if you are.
Or are you doing the camera?
Can you touch me? If you can touch me, cross the rods.
Or touch her. Do it.
Tell me if you can touch me first.
Yep.
I guess. All right, if that's the case, then go ahead and touch me. I'm sitting here waiting for you to do it.
Pull her hair.
I don't know, I don't have much hair, but go ahead and pull it. Touch me on the
Tell
shoulder.
him, get revenge on Mom. Make a ghost do it.
I don't mind you touching me, so I'm here to talk to you. If you got something to say, somehow let me know. Do you have something you want to say to us?
No.
No.
I thought you wanted
Absolutely
to
not.
talk.
Do you have something important to convey to us? Is there anything important you would like the people here to know?
Are you in there because you got caught gambling? Or you got
stuff
caught
for you.
cheating?
Yeah.
Did you get caught cheating while you were gambling? You can tell us if you did. Cross over if you did.
Excuse me.
All right.
I just heard something, but it probably was a car since we're so close to the road.
Probably.
Carl's got it barricaded. Shit. Nice. He said there wasn't a lot of activity up here because this was Carl's like safe zone. Oh, that's a tub.
It's probably way up here, so you'd never be able to tell.
She said this was Carl's like safe zone. Okay, my battery's starting to die.
Did he die in this room?
No. Well, I don't know. Should we say thank you, Carl, when we leave? She did, so I'm gonna.
Is Carl in here with us?
If Carl's in here, can you let us know you're in here? Can you move a cigarette on the table? Oh, battery's flashing. What got your favorite kind of tub in there? Yep. We'll probably have to, before we go into the orb room, we'll switch to your big camera because mine's about to finna croak.
We'll switch batteries at least.
Alright. That's fine.
Are we done up here?
Yeah, I remember. Thank you, Carl.
It's a lot colder in here than it is anywhere else in this f***ing place. Or am I imagining it?
No, it's definitely colder. Hello, Bobby and Denise.
It's freezing in here.
I think I was gonna get one in.
We should try to be quiet for a minute and see.
What is it? You don't need to be quiet.
Yeah,
So
I
it's gonna
didn't
be
think I was going to go.
Honestly, I
We
can't.
should try to be quiet.
You don't need to be quiet.
You want to get extra spooky?
Yeah, that's it. Who's
You can't
rap
tap your
tapping?
foot.
Is
Sorry.
that you tapping?
That was JT.
Or was it? Like, zoinks, gang.
I just got so many cold chills.
I did too.
Oh god.
See?
What a
I'm
bitch.
so nervous.
I was resting so peacefully. My eyes closed.
He's drifting off to demon land.
Oh,
Alright, for real this time. No shenanigans, Tanya.
They're gonna yell at us for being loud.
Who the fuck is having fun? Hey! Stop having fun.
Alright, let's be quiet for fuck's sake. Okay, turn the light back on.
good grief, we just got going.
Turn the light
Let's be
back on.
quiet for 30 seconds.
I was having a freak out moment.
Isn't it?
I was actually.
Was though when we were quiet. It was like,
It was like they finally shut the f up.
you know,
No, I gotta turn the light back on. I'm having an anxiety attack.
Alright, ask it a question.
Where is the portal to hell?
Where's the portal? Alright.
ask me about the exorcism again.
Where did the exorcism take place? Where did the exorcism take place?
It's pointing at me. It's pointing at me.
Too many eyes on it. Might have performance anxiety.
Me. Hero daddy.
Get a picture of JT in front of the hero daddy.
I will. Where did the exorcism take place?
Oh, fuck that.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that hard in the face.
Alright, do we know where the well is? Like, I know we know, like,
If that comes out of your
downstairs.
hand and points straight down, I'm gonna just shit my pants.
They just fly out and just fly there. That, technically, okay, so we're right. It would be that.
It's like right behind you, probably. Like no.
I think
be, like,
it's
right
like
here.
right in front of the monster room where the exorcism was. I think it's
Wait,
in that.
she said where it was. It was within like the entryway of the monster room from like where the bathroom was. So it'd be like right here.
All right, let's get it.
Alright, where is the well?
Oh my
Alright.
god.
Alright, does anybody else want to do them so they don't think I'm like fucking with you?
Now I definitely need to stand.
Where am I supposed to grip these? Just
Like, where the...
at the handles, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Where's the porthole to hell?
Porthole. It's on the ghost ship. Ask where the bull is. Where's the bull?
I don't remember where the bull is.
Oh my god. It knows. It does. Stop. I see your thumb.
I'm not. My thumbs are down here, dude.
Who was it crossing?
Which one? One's pointed at you, one's pointed at the bull.
Here, I want to try.
Okay.
Now you take the camera.
Is there a way to like erase this like the Ouija board to just? No, that
Pisses it off more.
Shake them out, but that's just me.
Alright, let me get
Kill
back
anybody.
for it.
Please don't kill anybody. I have another ghost to look for.
Let me lower this hand a little bit. Let me put it on autofocus real quick. Okay. I'm gonna ask it where the hero daddy is, and if it doesn't point at me, it's wrong.
Well, don't point at the hero daddy when you ask. You'll confuse the thing. Now point directly at me. Just look at me. Where's the hero daddy?
I hate this. It almost wanted to point at Jordan. Where's the entrance to Carl's apartment? I just got a cold chill. Stop. Stop, it's coming around.
Here, let me try again.
What directions does it point for the yes or no questions?
Yeah.
Cross
If it
for-
crosses, it's
cross,
a
it's yes. If it
goes
goes
outward.
outward, it's no.
Okay, so let's ask it yes or no questions.
Is this place really haunted?
Duh. Okay, hold on. Was there a head thrown in the well?
There's a head down there.
Myth busted.
There's a head in the well.
Yep. She said it wasn't real.
She never played with
I
wands.
said myth busted, but I mean the myth she was spewing. I didn't realize she was there.
She's the one that put the head there. She's a ghost.
What's that woman's name? Johanna?
she's not Johanna?
Let's ask about her.
Hey,
Is Johanna real?
what's the murder? The murder.
What'd you ask?
Legend my ass.
Oh, goodness.
Who else?
Here, Ian, you want to take a couple?
I know Tori's got a mouthful to ask.
No, I'm good.
They're running Mom said we can't get them to do anything tonight.
No,
They're working for you guys. There's another pair of them.
We've had them in a cemetery where they work beautiful.
Yeah.
What should I ask?
How do you hold?
Do you like
You
it
have to ask
big?
me
I
yes.
told them just
It
on
just has to
the,
be yes or no.
just start them out with them steady in front of you and then go from there.
And ask them yes or no questions. They're not no. Really?
Let's see.
You got a question for me, or you just playing?
I'm just playing.
Somebody asked
She's probably
a question.
thinking it again. See if
What's a,
I mean, in
what's a
the
good question?
evil basement of hell, I mean, you could get any kind of thing. Cross.
Think of some.
Uncross. Matilda over here.
I
I can't think of anything.
don't know you do that. I can't even get it to do that.
No.
Is Carl here?
See, hers are just staying steady.
See, mine did too. I couldn't get it to say anything today. And I can usually work mine.
Ask if Carl's here, Jordan.
Okay.
We decided to try these because my dad was a dowser.
Is Carl here? Is he in the building?
Yes.
Alright.
Ask if Carl's in his apartment.
That's my next question. Go on.
Alright, sorry.
I'm thinking
I'm getting ahead.
Is
Are you thinking of the question already?
Alright, let me ask it again just in case.
That's your throat.
Is Carl in his apartment?
Ask if he wants us to go visit him.
I was looking.
And then they'll just go like super fast.
Sometimes they
That was spinning. Got Jordan's head off.
You don't want it, horror. There it is. FiguredRE.com. Or .net, excuse me.
Our brand.
Tio, does Carl want us to come up and see him?
No.
Oh my god!
Don't worry, we will not.
Does Carl want us to leave?
Is Carl's apartment the only safe place in the building?
Yep.
Yeah, I expected that one.
That's because that's what the lady said. They're just following orders.
She's working them with magnets or something else. Like a puppet.
She's got her ears pressed up against that wall, and she's just got a big magnet. I asked if Carl wants us to leave.
Did this used to be a casino? Just confirming facts. Seeing if it'll cross or not. Oh, okay, that's a little bit too much of a cross.
Does Carl want us to leave?
Jordan's crossed.
Yeah, there it goes.
Oh my god, it's crossing.
What did your thing just do? Your phone? Did it moan again?
It's not even on, I don't think.
Something's on. I
It's
hear
on.
something.
It's Carl.
Save a rule.
Tell us to go away.
His rule is get out.
Do any ghosts like us being here?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
I never.
Unless they have
Ask
malicious
if it's
intent.
tired of us being here.
Are you ready for us to leave? It's trying to cross.
Ask him if we're bothering him.
Are we bothering you?
Yep.
Slightly. It's just at a triangle.
Maybe.
Just the one with the hood
Can
in
you
the
do
fear
that?
dog shirt.
Do you have a question?
Do you want someone to go back down to the jail?
No,
You didn't like
No
it.
good.
Down there.
I don't like the
Jordan
jail.
ran out of that jail cell.
Well, it said get out.
Yeah, they
I
said
was
it said get
told-
out. JT heard it right there when we were down there.
Whatever her phone said, it was like get out or go away.
That's so
I
weird
was-
because we were standing right there when JT heard that, like with his actual ears, though. Like he heard someone say that.
It like I could feel something.
Mom told
like
her the
something-
phone said that, and she just like.
Well, the energy changed, and I was kind of weird, but it got like it was cold down there, but it was starting to heat up or something. Like somebody was, like how people like go up and grab your shoulders. That's kind of what it was starting to feel like. I was like, nope,
Take a pair back to your hotel room, see if anybody's staying with you.
no, thank you,
See if one followed.
nope, I'm good.
We had her friend follow us home from the cemetery. She had died in what, 95?
We went and visited her grave and was talking to her with the rods. And then we went to another grave just like playing and practicing. And I was standing over a grave of someone we didn't know. And I asked Mom, I was like, ask it questions that you wouldn't know the answer to or whatever. And so she's using the rods and asking it and said, are you male? And it was a male's grave and it said no. And I'm like, okay. So she asked if it was female. It said yes. She goes, are you Martha? Did you follow us over here? And it said yes. And she goes, then point to your grave. Her grave was
That thing
behind
just
her up the hill. This thing went around and hit her in the shoulder and pointed right to her
Right back to her
grave.
grave. And then when we got home,
we were taking pictures, and we had an office that had like a small TV, and I'm taking pictures and everything. And the TV actually had this.
Martha, if you're here,
The
let's see it.
TV had the a show on, and every picture had the show in the TV, except one, and it was a blue screen that never happened on the real TV. It was a blue screen with a letter A on it, which is my initial.
Ew, that's weird.
Yeah, and I can't find that picture now.
Where is Pearl Bryant's body? I need
It's probably
both
just
rods
telling
to
you
turn.
that-
Where is her head? Both rods, please.
Usually when you do where questions, it does only use one. for some reason. Even when it did the one for Martha's grave, it only did one.
What about that other rod? Oh, my hand's up too high. Alright.
My
Ask
son,
if Carl was actually possessed.
Was Carl actually possessed?
We asked that out in that room, and Mom got a thing on there. It said, we asked who possessed him, and it said Patrick. I don't know who Patrick is, but okay.
Yeah, I don't remember him being part of the tour.
No, I didn't either. We got all kinds of names on her little phone, though. We got John, Alexa,
Oh, God.
all kinds
Where
of
did
names.
the
Pinky.
mobsters dump the bodies?
Out that way.
Gabriel.
To the
We had
river.
all kinds of
The
names.
river.
Oh, Robert,
Yeah, that is where it is.
Sandra.
I got excited.
Yes.
What happened?
Okay.
We said the river and it crossed instantly.
Ah.
Yeah,
I really
it's
hope
so
I got
weird.
that on video. I wasn't looking through the viewfinder, but I never moved the
I'll
camera.
do it
Because it
again.
was like, where did they dump the body? And it pointed right there, which is where the river would be. And it was like, she's like, the river. And it went,
Just asked
It
if you put the
yes.
bodies in the river.
Where did the mobsters dump the bodies?
Look,
Let's go
both
right-
of them.
The river? Was it the river?
Usually before you ask another question, you gotta straighten them back.
No, that was instant. Like it was. I said the
Wait,
river
wait,
and they crossed.
Look.
did they dump it in the river?
Like that.
Like
Like that, but it was instant. Like there was no hesitation. It was.
They're just annoyed that you're
boom,
asking
and
again.
then boing.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
already
oh my
told you
God,
this.
how many times? Jesus.
It's like,
Yes,
Go-
the river. Yes, 100
go
times,
for it again
yes.
for the slow people.
My father was psychic that he knew things when they happened ahead of time. And I didn't get it, Mandy didn't get it, but my son, his girlfriend's mother died. And then a couple weeks later he was driving his car and he looked in the mirror in the back and she was there.
Oh no.
Twin, twin.
I thought so.
Where did all the gambling take place?
Back that way.
Pointed at your.
That's what I expected. Yes.
Pointed at your neck like it was right here.
It just turns, just impales her in the wall.
All right. Where were the old bathrooms located?
They were out that way.
It's like I don't know where the men's was. It's been moved.
Where are the new bathrooms at?
Yeah.
What's going? Oh yeah, thank you. Definitely needed to know where those bathrooms are at.
I bet she runs. She really didn't know.
Thanks. Out the door.
Yeah.
Bye. All right.
This was all a ruse because she was too embarrassed to ask.